All right, so welcome to this deep dive, all about wellness habits for 2025.
Yeah.
We're going to be, going through all these different sources that you've given us and pulling out the absolute best tips and advice
Yeah.
so that you can thrive in the years to come.
Looking forward to it.
It seems like wellness is evolving.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just about diet and exercise anymore.
Yeah. It seems like all of the sources are pointing towards a more holistic picture of wellness in 2025.
Exactly.
It really is about this balance, across your mental and physical health and also your emotional well-being.
Right. And even how we're interacting with technology in this digital world.
Yeah. Digital well-being is huge.
Yeah, it feels pretty ambitious, but
It does.
a lot of the sources are saying that small changes can make a big difference,
Absolutely.
which is good news for anyone who's ever trying to overhaul their life and then just completely crashed and burned.
Yeah. Those New Year's resolutions that last a week.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So true.
It's those small steps,
Yeah.
consistently applied,
Yeah.
they can really have the most powerful impact.
I love that.
And, one of the things that's really fascinating is they're talking about the power of morning sunlight
Yes.
in 2025.
10 minutes.
That's all it takes.
Just 10 minutes.
Yeah.
First thing in the morning can make a huge impact on your well-being.
Huge.
It's like nature's energy boost.
It is?
I've actually been trying to do this.
Yeah.
I've noticed a big difference in my focus
Yeah.
and just how productive I am throughout the day.
There's a lot of science that backs that up.
Is there?
Yeah, sunlight, it helps regulate your circadian rhythm,
Okay.
which is essentially your body's internal clock.
Right.
And that controls, your sleep-wake cycle and your hormone production.
Wow.
So getting that dose of morning sunlight is really going to help synchronize your internal clock, and that's going to improve your sleep and boost your energy levels.
Okay, so it's not just about
Feeling good. It's like there's a real physiological reason why this works.
Absolutely.
Now, what about protecting our skin from sun damage?
That's a really good point.
If we're getting all this extra sun exposure.
Yeah, some sun exposure is great,
Yeah.
but practicing safe sun habits is always essential.
Okay.
The sources recommend using sunscreen with an SPF of 30 or higher and wearing protective clothing like hats and sunglasses, and try to avoid the sun during peak hours when those rays are the strongest.
So it's all about balance.
It is.
All right, so we're getting that morning sunlight.
Yep.
We're being sun safe while we're at it.
Smart.
What's next on our list of 2025?
Well, let's talk about gut health,
Okay.
because a lot of the sources are emphasizing the connection between gut health and our overall well-being.
They're talking about the gut as being the gateway to our overall wellness.
Like it's the core of who we are.
It seems like a healthy gut is about so much more than just digestion these days.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
It's not just about digestion.
Yep.
The sources really dive into what's called the gut microbiome, which is essentially this incredible ecosystem of trillions of bacteria that live in your digestive tract.
Trillions with a T.
Trillions.
Wow.
And it turns out that the types of bacteria that you have in your gut can impact your energy levels, your immune system, and even your mood.
Wow, that's wild.
It is wild.
So how do we make sure that we're cultivating a thriving community of good bacteria in our gut?
Well, the sources suggest that one of the best ways to support your gut health is by prioritizing fiber-rich foods.
Okay.
So we're talking about those powerhouse ingredients that are really going to provide fuel for your gut bacteria to thrive.
Give me some examples.
So fruits, vegetables,
Love it.
whole grains,
Yes.
legumes, all of those nutrient-packed choices that are not only good for your gut, but they also help to regulate your blood sugar.
Right.
So, keeping those energy slumps at bay. It's like we're feeding the good guys in our gut so they can keep everything running smoothly. Exactly.
I love that.
And here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
They talk about incorporating a fiber-rich breakfast as being particularly impactful.
I'm listening.
So imagine starting your day with a smoothie that's packed with leafy greens like spinach, chia seeds for an extra fiber boost, and then a handful of your favorite berries for antioxidants and flavor.
Delicious and nutritious.
Exactly.
I love it. It's like you're nourishing your body and mind from the inside out.
Absolutely.
Speaking of nourishing our minds, let's talk about the impact of technology and this always-on digital world that we live in.
That's a great transition.
Yeah.
Because one thing that is clear in the sources is that creating healthy boundaries with technology is going to be absolutely crucial
Yeah.
in 2025.
Okay.
They recommend dedicating at least 1 hour each day to completely unplugging.
Okay, so a full-on digital detox.
A digital detox.
That sounds amazing in theory,
It
but also kind of daunting. Is an hour really enough to make a difference?
Well, it's definitely a challenge,
Yeah.
in our hyper-connected world.
Yeah.
But the sources emphasize that even small pockets of disconnection can make a big impact.
Okay.
It's not necessarily about the amount of time, it's about the quality of that time.
No.
So think about disconnecting for even 30 minutes before bed can significantly improve your sleep quality.
Interesting.
Because when you're constantly bombarded with notifications and blue light,
Yeah.
it disrupts your natural sleep-wake cycle.
Right.
Makes it harder to fall asleep and stay asleep.
So we've got to give our brains a break from all that stimulation
Yeah.
and allow our bodies to naturally wind down.
Absolutely. And it's not just about sleep.
What else?
The sources mention how digital detoxing can actually help us to reconnect with ourselves and the people around us.
So it's about being present in the moment.
Being present.
Yeah, instead of scrolling through social media, you could be having a meaningful conversation with someone you love,
Yeah.
enjoying a walk in nature,
Absolutely.
savoring a cup of tea without distractions.
Yeah, those little things make a big difference.
It's about reclaiming those moments of peace and connection.
I love that.
Yeah, I mean, by putting down our devices, we're opening ourselves up to so many different experiences that we might otherwise miss.
Absolutely. And here's a thought-provoking question
Okay.
that the sources pose. What if we took it a step further
What?
and dedicated 1 day a week to a complete digital detox?
A whole day.
A whole day.
So like a tech-free Sunday,
A tech-free Sunday.
where you just disconnect from all of your devices and focus on activities that bring you joy and rejuvenation.
Exactly.
That sounds incredible,
Mm.
but let's be real.
Yeah.
Is it even possible to completely disconnect for a whole day?
It might seem challenging,
Yeah.
but the sources suggest that it's more about shifting our mindset
Okay.
than achieving absolute perfection.
Okay.
It's about setting those clear boundaries and intentions for how we want to spend our time.
I like that.
So maybe it's about leaving your phone at home when you go for a hike
Okay.
or having a designated tech-free zone in your house.
Right.
It's about making conscious choices
Yeah.
that align with your well-being.
It's about finding what works for you
Hmm.
and creating a sustainable approach
Yeah,
to digital well-being.
absolutely.
Okay. So we've talked about getting sunlight, fueling our guts with good stuff,
Mm-hmm.
disconnecting from the digital world.
Yeah.
What other healthy habits are trending for 2025?
Well, the sources emphasize the importance of staying active,
Okay.
but they're not talking about spending hours at the gym.
Okay.
They're advocating for something that they call intentional movement.
Intentional move.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
So it's about finding ways to move your body
Got it.
that you genuinely enjoy
Okay.
and that fit into your lifestyle.
Right.
So instead of forcing yourself to do something that you dread,
Right.
it's about exploring different activities and finding what feels good for you.
That's so refreshing.
Yeah.
It's not about punishing yourself with grueling workouts.
Yeah.
It's about celebrating the joy of movement.
It is.
I love that. And it doesn't have to be complicated either.
No.
Right.
The sources actually highlight the benefits of simple activities
Like what?
like walking, dancing, or even gardening.
Oh, nice.
It's about incorporating movement into your everyday life
Yeah.
in a way that feels natural and sustainable.
It's about making movement a part of your lifestyle, not just another item on your to-do list.
I love that.
And it doesn't have to be a solo endeavor either, right?
No, it doesn't.
Like,
They actually encourage finding a buddy
okay.
to join you on your movement journey.
Okay.
So having a friend
Yeah.
to walk with, dance with, or even garden with
Right.
can make it so much more fun,
Yeah.
keep you accountable,
Right.
and just provide that social support.
There's that social connection piece again.
Yes.
It seems like having a strong support system is key to overall well-being.
It really is.
Okay, so we've got sunlight,
Yeah.
fiber digital detox,
Mm-hmm.
intentional movement. What's the fifth and final habit for thriving in 2025?
This one is all about shifting your perspective and cultivating a sense of gratitude.
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 That sounds a little fluffy, but I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
Tell me more. How does gratitude fit into this bigger picture of wellness?
Well, the sources suggest that a regular gratitude practice
Okay.
can have a profound impact on your mental and emotional well-being.
Okay.
So when you consciously focus on the things that you're grateful for,
Yeah.
it can really shift your mindset from negativity to positivity,
Okay.
which is going to reduce stress and boost happiness.
Right. It's like choosing to see the glass half full
Exactly.
instead of half empty.
Yeah.
But how do you actually make gratitude a part of your daily life?
Well, it can be as simple as taking a few minutes each day to reflect on the things you're thankful for.
Okay.
Some people like to keep a gratitude journal where they write down 3 things that they're grateful for every day.
Yeah.
Others might prefer to use a gratitude jar
Oh.
where they write down, positive experiences on slips of paper and collect them throughout the year.
I love that.
It's about finding a ritual that resonates with you
Yeah.
and making it a consistent part of your routine.
Okay. And the sources say that regularly practicing gratitude can actually rewire your brain.
It can,
Really?
making you more attuned to positive experiences and less reactive to negative ones.
So it's not just about feeling good in the moment.
No,
It's about creating lasting changes
it is.
in your brain
Yeah.
that can lead to greater happiness and resilience.
Exactly. It's about cultivating a positive mindset that's really going to help you to navigate life's challenges with more grace and ease.
I love how simple yet powerful this habit is.
Mhm.
It's really just about taking a few moments each day to appreciate the good things in your life.
Yeah, big or small.
Right.
It's about shifting your focus from what you lack to what you have
I like that.
and recognizing that abundance that surrounds you.
All of these 5 habits are so interconnected.
They are.
It seems like they all work together to create a more balanced and fulfilling life.
They complement each other, creating a really holistic approach to well-being that addresses, your physical health or mental health, your emotional health, and your digital health.
Right. It's like a recipe for a thriving life in 2025. And the best part is that all of these habits are accessible to everyone,
Absolutely.
regardless of, your background or your lifestyle or your resources.
It's about making small, sustainable changes that can have a big impact on your overall well-being.
I'm feeling inspired.
Good.
These habits seem, simple enough to implement, but I'm curious about how to make them stick.
Yeah,
Life gets busy.
it does.
It's easy to let good intentions fall by the wayside. What do the sources say about staying motivated?
Yeah. How do we make these habits a
Yeah.
part of our daily routine? That's a great question, and it's something that we'll definitely be exploring further in this deep dive.
Well, I can't wait to learn more. Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll be delving into the practical strategies for integrating these habits into your daily life and making them stick for the long haul.
Welcome back. It's great to be continuing this exploration of, thriving in 2025.
Yeah, you're right. It's one thing to understand these 5 key habits,
Mhm.
but it's another to actually integrate them
Absolutely.
into our daily lives.
Yeah.
So let's dive into the practical side of things.
Let's do it.
What strategies do the sources suggest for making these habits stick, especially when life gets hectic?
Well, one of the most important things they emphasize is the power of starting small.
Okay.
Trying to overhaul your entire routine overnight is a recipe for burnout.
Right.
Instead, they suggest focusing on one habit at a time
Okay.
and gradually building from there.
So baby steps.
Baby steps.
Don't get overwhelmed.
Exactly.
If we think back to our first habit, morning sunlight,
Yeah.
it's not about suddenly waking up at dawn for an hour-long hike.
Well,
It could be as simple as enjoying your morning coffee on your porch for 10 minutes.
I love that example.
Yeah.
It's about finding those small, manageable ways to incorporate the habit into your existing routine.
Okay.
And once that feels comfortable, you can gradually increase the duration or the intensity.
So consistency over perfection.
Consistency over perfection.
I like that.
It's not about being perfect. It's about making progress and celebrating those small wins.
Yeah. And speaking of celebrating,
Yes.
the sources also mention the importance of finding ways to make these habits enjoyable.
Absolutely.
Not just another chore on your to-do list.
If you dread doing something, you're less likely to stick with it.
Right.
So it's about finding ways to make these habits fun and rewarding.
Okay. So for example,
Yeah.
if you're trying to incorporate more fiber into your diet,
Mm-hmm.
don't force yourself to eat foods you dislike.
No.
Right.
Experiment. Try new recipes. Try new fruits and vegetables. Find ways to make healthy eating a delicious and enjoyable experience.
I remember reading about a buddy system in the sources
Oh, yes.
as a way to stay motivated.
Yeah.
Could that be a strategy for making these habits more enjoyable?
The buddy system can be incredibly powerful.
How so?
Having a friend or a family member or even an online community to share your journey with
Yeah.
can provide that accountability, the
Yeah.
encouragement, and a sense of camaraderie.
So you can celebrate your successes together.
Absolutely.
Troubleshoot challenges.
Yes.
Keep each other motivated.
It's like having a cheerleader in your corner,
I love that.
reminding you why you started in the first place.
Yes. And speaking of motivation,
Yes.
another key strategy the sources highlight is setting realistic goals.
So important.
If you set the bar too high, you're setting yourself up for disappointment.
Absolutely.
So instead of saying, I'm going to work out every day for an hour,
Yeah.
maybe start with, I'm going to go for a 20-minute walk 3 times a week.
Exactly. It's about making those small incremental changes that are going to add up over time.
I like that.
And remember, it's okay to adjust your goals as needed.
Right.
Life happens.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to be flexible
Okay.
and adapt your approach.
Now, the sources also talk about being mindful of your environment
Yes.
and creating a space that supports your wellness goals.
Our environment plays a huge role.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
They suggest taking a look at your surroundings and identifying any potential triggers or obstacles that might be hindering your progress.
So, for example,
If you're trying to reduce your screen time, make sure your phone isn't the first thing you see when you wake up.
Interesting.
Maybe invest in an alarm clock
Okay.
and leave your phone charging in another room.
That's a really simple yet effective strategy.
It is.
It's about setting yourself up for success
Yeah,
by removing those temptations,
absolutely.
creating an environment that supports your goals.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Exactly. And it's not just about removing negative influences.
No.
It's also about adding positive ones.
Yes.
So if you're trying to incorporate more intentional movement into your day, make sure you have comfortable walking shoes, easily accessible.
Yes.
Or keep a yoga mat in a visible spot in your home.
Make it easy for yourself to make those healthy choices.
It's about creating those visual cues
Yes.
and reminders that nudge you in the right direction.
Yeah. And another thing they emphasize is the importance of self-care and stress management.
Okay.
So finding healthy ways to cope with stress.
Like what?
Whether it's through meditation, spending time in nature, listening to music, or engaging in creative activities.
That makes sense because stress can be a major roadblock.
It can.
To achieving any goal.
Absolutely.
So finding healthy ways to manage it is crucial.
It is.
And what about when those inevitable setbacks occur?
Yeah, those happen.
How do we pick ourselves up and keep moving forward?
Well, the sources emphasize the importance of self-compassion.
Okay.
They remind us that setbacks are a normal part of the journey.
Okay.
And it's important to treat ourselves with kindness and understanding when they happen.
So instead of beating yourself up,
Right.
try to view setbacks as opportunities for learning and growth.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
What can you learn from this experience?
Right.
How can you adjust your approach moving forward?
That's such a valuable perspective. It's about reframing those setbacks as learning experiences rather than failures.
I love that.
Yeah.
And remember, you're not alone on this journey.
Right.
Reach out to your support system.
Yeah.
Seek guidance from experts.
Yeah.
And remember that every day is a new opportunity
Right.
to make choices that align with your well-being.
Going back to our discussion about gut health and fiber,
Yes.
one of the things that stood out to me in the sources was the link between gut health and brain health.
Fascinating, right?
Yeah. I remember reading about the gut-brain connection and how what we eat can actually impact our mood, our focus, and even our risk of cognitive decline.
It's incredible. The gut-brain connection is a fascinating area of research.
It is.
And the sources suggest that a healthy gut microbiome can actually improve communication between the gut and the brain.
Wow.
Leading to better mental clarity, emotional regulation, and overall cognitive function.
It's another reminder that our bodies are incredibly interconnected.
They are.
And what we do for one part of our body can have ripple effects
Absolutely.
throughout our entire system.
And speaking of connections, the sources also highlight the importance of social connection for overall well-being.
Okay.
They suggest making an effort to nurture your relationships, spend time with loved ones, and engage in activities that foster a sense of community.
Yeah. It's so easy to get caught up in the busyness of life and neglect our social connections.
It is.
But they're so essential for our well-being.
Absolutely. Humans are social creatures, and we thrive on connection.
Right.
The sources suggest that strong social bonds can provide a sense of belonging, support, and purpose, all of which contribute to greater happiness and resilience.
So it seems like these 5 key habits getting morning sunlight, prioritizing fiber, disconnecting from technology, and engaging in intentional movement and cultivating gratitude.
Yes,
They're all interconnected
they are.
and contribute to a more holistic sense of well-being.
Absolutely. It's not about viewing these habits as isolated actions,
Okay.
but rather as pieces of a larger puzzle
I like that.
that fit together to create a vibrant and fulfilling life.
It's like a recipe for thriving in 2025.
It is. And remember, it's not about striving for perfection.
Right?
It's about making progress one step at a time.
Okay.
Embrace the journey. Be kind to yourself and celebrate those small wins along the way.
What I'm hearing is it's not just about what we do, it's about how we do it.
I love that.
It's about approaching these habits with intention, mindfulness, and a sense of playfulness.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah.
It's about making those conscious choices that align with our values and create a life that feels authentic and meaningful.
So we've covered a lot of ground today exploring the 5 key habits for thriving in 2025 and really delving into those practical strategies for making those habits stick. But before we wrap up, I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier about the importance of staying informed
Yes.
and being discerning about the information that we consume.
So important with the constant influx of information, especially in the world of health and wellness.
Yeah.
It's crucial to be a critical thinker
Right.
and evaluate the sources that we're relying on.
Exactly. How do we navigate the sea of information and make sure we're making informed choices
Right.
that are aligned with our individual needs and goals?
Well, the sources suggest a few key strategies.
Okay.
I'm listening. First, it's important to consider the source of the information.
Okay.
Is it coming from a reputable organization or individual with relevant expertise
So it's like checking the credentials.
of the person giving you advice?
Exactly. You wouldn't take financial advice from someone who's never managed money.
Right.
And you shouldn't take health advice from someone who doesn't have the proper qualifications.
That's so true.
And it's also important to be aware of potential biases.
Well, okay.
Does the source have a vested interest in promoting a particular product or viewpoint?
Okay.
Are they presenting a balanced perspective, or are they cherry-picking data to support their claims?
It's like we have to be little detectives
We do.
and really evaluate the information
Well-
we're consuming.
And finally, the sources emphasize the importance of listening to your own body and intuition.
That makes sense.
What works for one person may not work for another.
Right.
So it's crucial to pay attention to how your body responds to different habits and practices.
It's about tuning into your own inner wisdom
Yes.
and making choices that feel right for you.
And remember, it's okay to seek guidance from qualified healthcare professionals
Right.
when needed. They can provide personalized advice and support based on your individual circumstances.
This has been such a valuable discussion.
It has.
I feel like I have a much better understanding of these 5 key habits for thriving in 2025 and the practical strategies for making them stick.
I'm so glad to hear that. And remember, it's a journey, not a destination.
Right.
Embrace the process, be kind to yourself, and celebrate those small wins along the way.
And stay tuned for part 3, where we'll be wrapping up this deep dive with some final thoughts and a call to action.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the final part of this deep dive into those wellness habits for 2025.
Yeah,
We've covered so much,
we have.
exploring, the 5 key habits
Yes.
and the strategies to make them stick.
Mm-hmm.
But before we wrap up, I want to talk about something that the sources really emphasize, and that is the ripple effect of our choices.
Yeah, it's this concept that our actions don't just impact us individually,
Right.
but they can have far-reaching consequences.
Oh, wow.
The sources suggest that, when we prioritize our well-being, we're actually creating a ripple effect that extends to our families, our communities, even the world around us.
Okay, so like when you heal yourself, you heal the world kind of thing.
Exactly.
But how does that actually play out in real life?
Well, imagine you start incorporating more fiber into your diet and you're feeling more energized.
Okay.
That increased energy might allow you to be more present and engaged with your loved ones.
Right.
And your positive attitude might inspire a friend to start making healthier choices as well.
But it's like a chain reaction of positivity.
It is a chain reaction.
And it goes beyond just like our personal circles, right?
It does. The sources talk about how our collective choices as consumers can really influence the market
Yeah.
and drive demand for healthier products and services.
So by choosing to support businesses that are, prioritizing sustainability and ethical practices, we're kind of voting with our wallets and creating a demand for a more conscious way of living.
I love that. And it doesn't stop there. The sources highlight the connection between individual well-being and global well-being.
Okay.
So when we feel healthy and grounded, we're more likely to be compassionate, empathetic, and engaged citizens.
Right, because when we're taking care of ourselves, we have more capacity to show up for others.
Exactly.
And contribute to positive change in the world.
Yeah, and the sources suggest that this interconnectedness is going to be even more crucial in 2025 and beyond.
Wow.
As we face these complex global challenges,
Right.
the well-being of individuals is going to be essential for creating a more sustainable and thriving future.
So it's like we're all in this together.
We are.
And our choices really do matter.
They do. It's a powerful reminder that we have the power to create positive change in our own lives and in the world around us.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with a call to action. What small step will you take today to integrate one of these habits into your life?
Remember, it's not about perfection.
Right.
It's about progress. Start small, be consistent, and celebrate those successes along the way.
And as you embark on your own wellness journey, just remember the ripple effect of your choices.
Yes.
Your actions have the power to create a more positive and vibrant world.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
We hope this exploration has inspired you to prioritize your well-being and create a life that feels, aligned, vibrant, and fulfilling.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep thriving.